Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about unleashing a powerful force within you that has the potential to redefine your life and astonish those around you. This force is your ability to shock them, to exceed expectations, to break barriers, and to achieve what others thought was impossible. Too often we let doubt and fear dictate our actions. But now is the time to turn the tables. Imagine living your life in such a way that your achievements and resilience leave people in awe. This is not about seeking approval or validation from others. It's about showing yourself what you are truly capable of. Today, I challenge you to tap into your hidden potential, to embrace your boldest ambitions, and to shock everyone, including yourself, with what you can accomplish. Most of us live our lives based on what other people think of us. There was a movie with Jim Carrey that I saw a few weeks ago. It was called, not a very well-known story, but there was one line that made the movie worth seeing for me. It was easy to catch this young man's birth, that someone set up a huge studio. It was based on the real life of a person who was used in a soap show. Everyone knew except for him. Everything was made up or fabricated. Then he was trying to get away when he found out about it. Someone said, "He won't get out." The guy asked, "Why?" He said he wasn't going to leave. He asked, "Why would you say that?" He said this because most people are okay with the way things are. Can you hear that? You see, most people aren't making money. Why? They are poor because they were born that way and lived their lives without knowing it. They don't understand that they can get more. They don't know they can be better. They say the words, "The Bible's price has helped me do everything." In our minds, we're more than victors. That's how you judge. If someone knows for sure, you do it even if you don't know it. You're living it if you know it. You're creating or making it happen if you know it. So when you look at yourself, you need to have this picture of who you are beyond your problems. Every day you need to look at yourself. I can do this. This is something I can make happen. I'm blessed and very lucky. I should have good things happen to me. You need to remind yourself of your goals every day. Follow this path. Get a 3x5 card for me. Here's a Bible verse for you to write on the back of that card. Matthew, the 7th chapter and the 7th line. You only need to ask and it will be given to you. You will find what you are looking for. If you knock, it will be open for you. Everyone who asks will receive. The one who looks for finds. And the person who knocks will have it open. Put that on one side of the card now. Also, write down your goal on the other side. Read that 3 times every day, no matter what the goal is. My plan was to buy a house for my mom. That's what I read 3 times every day. It will be given to you if you ask. You will find what you are looking for. If you knock, it will be open. Every day. Right now I have a goal. This card shows my goal. It gets read 3 or more times a day for me. First I read that Bible verse and then I read my goal to help me remember it. Why our thoughts can pull things together, showing off. How many of you have thought about someone and then got a call out of the blue? Please raise your hands. I just had a thought about you, you say. I'm thinking about you. You see, thoughts are strong. Psychologists say that every day we have between 40 and 50,000 thoughts. Now you want to start to focus on your thinking. Keep one eye open. Plan to pay attention. You want to start being disciplined and taking charge of your thoughts. There are a lot of things in life that can distract people, and most people never reach their goals because they let them. You could have seen Peter still walking on the water if he hadn't let himself get sidetracked. The scandal going on in the White House is worrying everyone. People are so interested in it that they buy newspapers and books to read about it. They should be crazy about their own lives. What are you going to do? You should be so focused on your own life that you don't notice what's going on around you. Just keep the important thing in mind. You don't need time. People ask me if I think he did it. I don't care and don't know. It's not making me any money. And if I were giving him advice, all I would have done in front of that grand jury is start speaking in tongues. That must have fixed them. Corvette, a Honda, dozen, Lexus, Toyota, yes. Then what would Ken Starr say? Double check. They wouldn't have been able to charge him with lying. The next day, news stories were read. The president talked in strange languages. I need to pray for all of you, Lord. Hey, everyone. Something else. That is, now let's talk about something else. You need to start taking risks. Note that down. He said that you can't grow if you don't take risks. You can't be your best if you can't grow. You can't be happy if you can't do your best. What else is there if you can't be happy? What do you know? That was 23 years ago when I saw Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. I wouldn't take the chance for 13 years, though. I stayed in my safe zone for 13 years. I told Les Brown over and over again for 13 years, you can't do that. Les Brown, you can't have people like that. Les Brown, you don't know enough, have enough money, or have the right skills to be that person. I said over and over, I can't do that. An old African saying says that the enemy outside cannot hurt us if we don't have an enemy inside. The bishop tells me I have an enemy inside me. There's no enemy inside you, right? How many of you have been your own worst enemy? Put your hands up. You have to be ready to leave your comfort zone. That could not have been said to me by anyone. I haven't been ready to leave my comfort zone, fail, try new things, take risks, or do something in the last 12 years. I didn't do it for 13 years. At that point, I told myself I couldn't do it. I've made more than $14 million in the last 12 years. I have something to tell you. $14 million, a nice yard, and a lot of money saved up. You can also get through the winter in Birmingham, Alabama. Can you hear me? I could not have known. I have 2 books. Follow your heart. You have to win before it's over. I could not have known. No one could have told me that I was born in an empty building on a floor marked educable, mentally retarded, and no college training. 5 shows that I had planned for public television 3 years ago would have been made. The most popular talk show that was canceled was the quickest in TV history, because I wouldn't do those shows with a lot of strife. I could not have known. This is something I didn't know I could do. I know some things about you. I don't know you either. You have greatness inside you. Someone Dr. King looked up to, Dr. Howard Thurman, said something one night. I couldn't sleep because I was reading. He said that the best way for a person to die is for their family to pray with them as they cross over, standing around their bed. He said, but picture yourself on your deathbed, surrounded by the ideas and dreams that life has given you. The skills and gifts you have that you haven't used or grown. The skills you never used were standing around your bed, angry eyes on you, telling you, we came to you because you were the only one who could have saved us. We have to die with you now for all time. What dreams, ideas, talents, abilities, skills, books, sermons, seminars, companies would die with you if you died right now. Monroe Miles said that the richest place in the world is not in the Far East, where there is oil, or in South Africa, where there are diamond mines. He said that the graveyard is the richest place in the world because that's where people leave their unfinished dreams, unfinished books, unfinished psalms, unfinished sermons, unfinished companies, and unfinished talents. Skills never get better. 1 out of every 40 million sperms made it to you alive. You were meant to win. To live a prosperous life, you must tell yourself every day that God wants you to be rich, successful, and wealthy. Let's work on your goals and dreams together. Here are some things to think about as you look at yourself, your life, and your situations. Note this down. Be very strict with yourself. Now think about what would have happened if Bishop T.D. Jakes had said no to the Manpower Conference when he first heard about it. What if he had let that thought die? We wouldn't be here. There are a lot of you here. There are a lot of thoughts inside you. This is what I know. As of right now, I'm leaving this place this afternoon. I will leave in an hour. In 1 hour, I make more than $150,000 to $50,000. Before now, I had no idea that I could do what I'm doing now. Your mind is very smart. You made a picture of God called an eclectus. Great things are possible for you. Some unique things are inside you. You brought it with you. Look at your life and decide to take risks. If you do, remember that it's okay to fail. Try things out and make mistakes. Please repeat after me. Not a single test or evidence. Yes, when you decide to follow Christ, you will go through some tough times. When that time comes, you'll go through pure hell. What does the pilot say to you as soon as you board the plane before takeoff? Put on your seatbelt. Why? Because there will be some rough air before you reach a comfy height. The man looked at me and told me I have prostate cancer. Life was giving me a test. The surgery can't be done because your growth is too big. We are going to give you beams, seeds, and transplants. No one has ever gotten more than 90. I got 238. 3 weeks ago, I went back. They looked at my PSA number, which shows that I have cancer in my prostate. From 1 to 4 is fine. On top of that, you have cancer that is growing. It was 6. 1 when I went for the first time a year ago. They gave me an MRI when I went to Howard University Hospital 3 weeks ago. It was 10. 5. He said, "I'm sorry to tell you this." And she asked, "What do you mean?" "Things are the same for you now as they were when I spoke, when you got here." This is what I heard at a restaurant from Christ Universal Temple Church. Bishop T.D. Jakes prayed for a woman who was in a wheelchair. Things just seemed to come to you. He finished praying for the woman, and I'm sure some silent questions were asked, like, why didn't she get up and walk if the prayer had worked? And what he said as he left, please let healing come first. He said that healing starts in the heart. It didn't matter what his phone number was. It didn't matter what their diagnosis was. Don't decide based on how they look. You need faith to make things that don't exist happen as if they did. Do you really believe this? You could believe it if you had money, but now you don't. It's one thing to believe when things are going well in your marriage, your health, and the way your kids act like they know what's right. It's nice to say, "Oh, the Lord is blessing me." So it's simple to believe. However, once you hear that news, you won't be here for long. You have to stand up when you lose your job, or when someone you thought you'd be with forever says, "No, we can't do this anymore." That's when you need to start living your faith. That's not your fault. Then you need to call on something bigger than you. That mind should be in you. You're crazy to think that. Even with these odds, you can still do it. No matter how much pain you're in, you can still come back. You're crazy. That's right, I'm in Christ's mind. I think so. And not just when things are going well. This isn't fair weather religion. You need to think when you take your ideas, products, or services to the world. Setting high standards for yourself is an important part of being successful. Bishop Jakes helped me figure things out. His people will look after you. He does a lot. In everything you do, hold yourself to high standards. Don't go where the path may lead, but go where there is no path and leave a trail. Be kind to other people. Say what you'd like to be said and do it. Tony, who's with me? The person who was given to me calls me several times and is polite and respectful. Could you tell me what I can do to help? As a first-class service, may I help you? If you choose to give first-class service. A book by John H. Johnson called Making Against the Odds. He said that there is no way to defend greatness that meets a pressing public need. I didn't have the money of a doctor when I chose to work in the motivational business. There are many great people in the world like Norman Vincent Peale, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, and many more. I was good at talking. That's why I trained myself. I made it a rule to read 3 to 4 books every week. I begin with a month. Now I've made it bigger with a reading system I already have. What Mr. Washington said, Mr. Brown. Yes, sir? Would you like to make it? Yes, sir. Hey, young man, you don't always get what you want in life. First, you need to improve your mind. Life gives you what you are. Next, you need to work on how you talk to people. You tell everyone who you are as soon as you open your mouth. They talked about Jesus, who clearly knew how to talk to people well. Do not specify a man. You're here because T.D. Jakes is the only preacher who can take quotes from the Bible and turn them into a talk that will make you jump around like crazy. When I get home, I watch this movie that my daughter gave me, Named. I told him, "Oh, son, let me tell you something." By the end of that video, I've never seen my dad. I was yelling at the TV, "Daddy, Daddy, come back, Dad." As I backed up and pushed the brakes, I said, "Daddy, let me tell you something." He broke up with me by myself in my bedroom. Please look around to see if anyone sees me. That message was written by that man. Do you hear me? It feels like a funeral to me as I cry. I need my dad. That's a nice gift. Do you hear me? That's a present. It's a word that people use. In his case, it is the only time I've ever seen it work. That's the only thing. I need to tell you, I believe I am a good speaker, but this guy we got here is really bad. The meaning of what we can see up here is too big for words to describe. He wears all of these funny little clothes, though, because he is down to earth. It really knocks me out. Also, let me tell you what my daughter told me. I have an older daughter who is on his fast team. What did she say? I heard Dion last night, and I think I'm also going to call Bishop Jakes Daddy. I told you I wished you would. I'm going to kick you out of here and break his leg for calling him Daddy. Now write this down the way I tell you to. Write it down and then take charge of your life. You are in charge of your life. That's really important. Do you remember what the bishop said about Adam the night before? Adam, When God asked him what went on, Adam did something wrong but didn't want to own up to it. Men have always tried to get away from that. You already know that we support marches a lot. I have something to tell you. I'd like to sign you up for this march. I want 1 million guys to march to a mailbox and send money to pay for things. Place some child support payments in the mail for the kids you helped to raise but aren't taken care of because you're not responsible. These places should not get that money. Planes, bus stops, hotels. Send those moms that money because they are still there taking care of and raising those kids on your stuff. Kim, the owner of you. Where's my daughter? Kim, the owner. This person called me 5 years ago. At that very late hour, I was at the office. You see, I think it's important to be open and honest with you. The caller asked, "Tell them what you told me." The question was whether you would or would not want to know if you had a child or a relative in this world that you did not know about. What did I say? You told me I should know. I told her I was interested. I told them to send me some shots. The next morning she sent me some shots. The smile caught my eye. "That's mine," I said. I told one of my kids to pick her up. He took her from Ohio to Detroit. He walked in first and told his dad, "Daddy, my sister is right behind me." They've been together ever since, and he's not ashamed of her. I don't want to or can't separate these eggs. On the other hand, I need to take care of my daughter because she is my daughter. Isn't she beautiful? I want to make her fatter. She has short legs. I want to find her husband. That's why our legs are so short. You can sue them for stopping to pay. Now you see why she's wearing pants. Yes, thank you, kid. Clap your hands together. Okay, so it's not a big deal that I'm telling you that men need to start owning their stuff. Just think about what would happen if 1 million men went to the mailbox and dropped exactly what you can. They don't need to have a return address in case they want to find you. That is not needed. You understand what I mean if you're really behind. I told you not to be a fool. Now, I can only put a return address on because I have an MBA. Say, I get it. I tell you, you don't have a college degree. I don't. The NBA stands for Mega Bank Account. In any case, come with me. Please don't tell me. I don't like her, though. She has an old man. She doesn't need my money. Or the kids don't look like me. I went to court with my friend Ronnie in the paternity case. He then went to the judge. What did the judge say? Why don't you pay child support? He said, those babies don't look like me. Judge, well, feed them until they do. But as men can see, we can't teach our boys to be responsible if they don't see us being responsible. They also need to know that we care about them. Don't say, I don't have it, then. Do you get it? You're still responsible for the next R after that. That is not only your duty, but also your ability to find solutions. I don't have many guys. I had it. I'll do it. The children would die of hunger if the women thought that way. The women decide, I'm going to make it happen no matter what, which is why they eat, have a place to stay, a roof over their heads, and clothes on their backs. They are also clever. My mom raised 7 kids without a boyfriend. She made food. She did housework. You will reach your goals when you leave because of this too. Right here. Note this down. There are strong reasons why you're here. What will keep you on the straight and narrow when you make this promise to God, when you decide to live like a winner, when you decide to be more successful, to make money, and to be a change agent in your community? A man named Sam Axelrod and I used to sell things door to door. He was interested in me because he didn't have to honk his horn when he came to pick me up. When Sam came around the corner, I was waiting for him downstairs. When it got dark and Sam blew the horn, everyone ran to the station wagon, except for the men who work with him and some other young people. They would count their heads and ask, who's here? Say, everyone is here except for Les. They tell Les to come on. Sam, I'm not coming. Why? I haven't sold anything. Nothing was sold. Being a lesbian from Liberty City to Overtown, it's a long way. You need to get through the 14th Street game and the 20th Street shocks. Soon the real ones will stop moving. Sam, I have to keep going until I sell something. You can see that I'm not like the other people who go door to door. There are a lot of people out there trying to make extra cash to go to a party on the weekend or buy new clothes or braces. I worked so that I could take care of my mom. I was working because my mother and I were working on Miami Beach for a family named the Sidursky family. When I got home from raking the yard one day, my mom was on the floor on her knees cleaning up some grease spots where Miss Sidursky had spilled some. That time my mom was 56 years old. She took us in when she was 40 years old. When I walked in, I could hear my mother moaning as she moved around on her knees on the hard cement floor. She had arthritis in her knees. I asked Ms. Zadursky, "Can I do that for my mom?" "She can also do something else, if it's okay with Mamie," she said. My mom told me, "No, son, that's fine." I told my mom, "No, it's not okay. I do not want you to be on your knees. Little one, please let me do it, Mom." And I helped my mom get up. Miss Zadursky told me to look for that hat I was looking for earlier in the other room. In the other room, my mom went to clap her hands and I heard her. "Mama," I said. She asked, "What, boy?" "I told you not to clap your hands, baby. Don't worry," she told me. "Don't change what you're doing." Then maybe after a while, Miss Zadursky said, "It could be in the next room. Check that out." As soon as Mama came back from the other room, she began clapping her hands again. "Serve!" I asked my mom, "Why are you clapping?" She asked, "Didn't I tell you to pay attention?" Then Miss Zadursky came over right then. She told him, "I know why she's clapping her hands." I asked, "Why, ma'am?" "That's why I make my housekeepers clap their hands when they're looking for something and I can't see them. This way I know they aren't stealing." I stood up and put down the scrub brush. "Sorry, I Miss Zadursky. I don't mean to be rude, ma'am. We learned to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am from our mom." That being said, my mom is a Christian. She'd never steal from you or anyone else. When my mom talks to her friends about your kids, she calls them my kids or the Stursky kids. She cares about you, your husband, and your kids. She'd never take your stuff. She then left. My mom saw that I was being very quiet when we were riding across the Venetian Causeway that night. I wasn't my happy self. She asked, "Son, what's wrong?" I told my mom, "I wish I were a man." She told him, "Boy, you're 16 years old. You'll soon be a man." I told my mom, "No, I want to be a man now. Because if I were a man right now, we would never have to wear someone else's old clothes that their kids no longer want. It will let me buy clothes for you, my siblings, and myself. We would never have to eat someone else's extra food that you cooked for them if I were a man. I could buy us food. If I were a man, when I was a man, Mom, no one would ever make me clean up grease that someone spilled. No one would ever make you clap your hands because they think you're stealing. Mama, if I were a man, I'd take care of you." She said, "Miss Zadursky told you that, did she not?" "Yes, ma'am. That made me a man. You only cook for me, never anyone else. There was a type of sweet potato pie my mom made that you had to take your shoes off to eat. You had to take your shoes off so that your toes could move. And when we went door to door, sometimes until 10 p.m., I would knock on the door and ask, 'Who's there? Are you interested in buying a nice TV that works?' 'Boy, are you crazy for not putting any money down?' 'I am in fact crazy. I love my mom so much, and I'm going to take care of her. Tonight, I'm going to sell a TV, and it might as well be you.' After a while, someone would say, 'Hey, come on in there,' and that set better be good. Take a moment to write down one reason you're at this manpower meeting. Make a list of 5 strong reasons why you will keep your promise to change your life. Do not break your promise to never go back to the way you lived before. Do what you promised to do to get rich. Take care of your kids. Be more responsible and show Christ in your life and in your community. Remember that you promised to make a difference in the world, that you would be a winner, and that you would be in charge of everything in your life. Why do you think that? I put on one of my tapes. If something bad happens, try to get back up on your feet. You can get up if you can look up. The things that made you fall will help you get back up. They will be your staff and rod to comfort you. I want you to remember that the power to shock them lies within you. It's about defying the odds, breaking through limitations, and demonstrating the extraordinary strength and talent you possess. When you step into this power, you not only inspire others, but you also transform your own life in ways you never thought possible. Think about the goals that scare you, the dreams that seem out of reach. Those are the very things that, when achieved, will leave people speechless. Don't be afraid to aim high, to take risks, and to push beyond your comfort zone. The greatest achievements come from the boldest actions. As you leave here today, carry with you the determination to shock them. Set audacious goals, take massive action, and let your results speak for themselves. Surround yourself with people who challenge and support you, and never lose sight of your potential. Each day is an opportunity to surprise yourself with what you can do. Thank you for being part of this journey. Let's continue to support and motivate each other to reach new heights. The time is now. Shock them with your resilience, your determination, and your success. You have the power to achieve greatness, to surpass all expectations, and to make an indelible mark on the world. Believe in yourself, take bold steps, and watch as you shock everyone, including yourself. You can do it, and you will do it. The journey to extraordinary begins now.